Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome to Positive Affirmation Tuesdays. Uh, sorry, the dogs are going a little bit crazy. Um, and I'm still in this darn chair because of my ribs. So that gives them really easy access. For anybody that watches this later as a video, know that it originally aired live. So occasionally you will hear me interacting with people in the chat, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. Today is about taking better care of ourselves. And I know for some people, oh, hi Sharon, hi, a little bit better, still being a little bit, hold on, hesitant. Because if I move around too much, then my lips really start to ache and holler at me. But otherwise, I'm doing well. I hope you are doing well too. And so today we're talking about taking better care of ourselves. And like I said, I know for myself, I'm always pretty much the last person I take care of. And it's been that way for a while. Even when I was younger, I would have people say, stop. When are you going to stop? When are you going to slow down? When are you going to sit down? When are you going to eat? When are you going to take care of you? And I always said, I'll get around to me. I'll always be there. I'll be just fine. And that's not really taking good care of ourselves, is it? As I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more selfish, and I'll put myself first a little more often. But I still don't think I take the best care of myself. And I think that that's something that especially a lot of women can relate to. Because women are constantly taking care of everybody else, right? It's just almost natural for us to do that. So we got to learn how to get better about that. Today is Tuesday, September 3rd of 2024. I cannot believe it's September already. And oops, that is the wrong one. I don't know how I didn't get my slide on there that I wanted. Well, sorry, I was going to show you the calendar for today. It was really cute, and it had a quote on it from Nelson Mandela that said, education is the best way to change the world. Something like that. I'm not very, very good with quotations. I like to mix them up and make them my own, which isn't really it's not really a quotation if you mix it around and throw in some of your own stuff. Hi, Nat. How are you? So I'm going to read the. Sorry, my trach is driving me crazy today. And if it continues, we're going to stop early because it's driving me nuts. Okay, so I'm going to read the reading for today. Take better care of yourself, and the affirmation, and then we can talk a little bit. Take better care of yourself than you ever have before. That's what your heart is telling you to do. Those times of driving yourself, depriving yourself, and not being gentle and loving with yourself will no longer work. Punishing, criticizing, repressing, and denying won't bring the feelings, the growth, or the result you're seeking. The harder you push, the more relentlessly demand perfection, the worse you'll feel. Fall in love with yourself. Be gentle, loving, kind, and attentive. Take time throughout each day uh, to tend to your needs, just as you would tend to someone you love deeply and dearly. Loving and caring for yourself this way won't waste time. It's not a delay. Take better care of yourself, and life's magic will return. Your life will improve, and you'll feel better too. And the affirmation for that is taking care of yourself is a simple act with profound consequences. The better and more often you care for yourself, the more you align with the universe and love. Sorry, I couldn't really re-angle this when I was reading. That's true, right? We all want to be happy. We all want to love ourselves more. We all want to be more present. We all want to be more in tune with our feelings and the people around us and the way that they feel. We all want to connect with other people more authentically, which is difficult if you're not aligned with yourself authentically. And it doesn't mean feeling every feeling and dissecting it and defining it and labeling it and fixing it if it's a feeling that you don't like. It doesn't mean stopping and doing that for every single feeling of the day. But I think we all have certain feelings and circumstances that we find ourselves in that kind of create the same triggers and can make us kind of feel like we're in a hamster wheel. We're just repeating the same kind of patterns over and over and over again with different people in different places and different times in our lives. And if there's something like that that you don't, and I think we all have this, if there's something like that that's going on again and again and again and again and again, that is something that you have to carve time out for and figure it out. You either have to figure out how to make peace with the feelings, or you have to figure out how to change the way that you're reacting that's bringing the feelings, or change people that are triggering those feelings, right? And so those are the times when you really have to stop and dissect and figure it out. It's like if you want something and there's certain feelings and situations or people that are preventing you from having that happiness or attaining certain goals in your life, then you have to change the way you're doing things. You can't go into the kitchen and want to bake a chocolate cake and continue to substitute salt for sugar. It's not going to work out. You're not going to like it. Nobody else is going to like it. Nobody's going to want it. It's not what you wanted when you went in there. But you knew that those were the ingredients that you had, and you keep working with them again and again and again, and you keep getting what you don't want. That's not taking care of yourself. See, it's important sometimes to take a step back and take inventory of our toolbox, inventory of our emotions, inventory of our relationships, inventory of it's our work environment, inventory of our creativity. It's important to step back and I say selfishly take that time, because it's going to seem selfish to other people, but to take the time to do the inventory to figure out why at whatever age you are in your life, or whatever stage you are in your life, you are still not achieving the results that you want. Well, hi Mary Lou, welcome. We just did the reading about taking better care of yourself, and I'm kind of talking about my spin on it, and that is that we all have certain goals that we want to achieve. For some people, that might be a career goals or financial goals. You can have relationship goals, and you can have goals that are more personal, like self-acceptance and love and self-love should absolutely be a goal, right? But not many of us think of it that way. We don't think of self-love and self-care and self-acceptance as a goal, but most of us are chasing it. And because we don't prioritize it as a goal, an acceptable goal, because nobody really talks about this stuff, right? We don't prioritize it because maybe people are embarrassed that they don't love and accept themselves. Maybe people are embarrassed about it, so we don't want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it because I'm not embarrassed. What is there to be embarrassed about? Self-love is hard. Total acceptance is hard. Making ourselves a priority and saying that to other people isn't easy, but it's absolutely, it's vital, and it's something that we all think about. It should be a goal. It should be a goal. If you make a vision board, it should be on there, because it can be the underlying, it can be the salt in our chocolate cake recipe. It can be the thing that is defeating us every time. And Mary Lou says, self-love is hard for me. It's hard for everybody. It's hard for everybody because of patterns. It's hard not to fall into the same pattern and immediately start criticizing yourself, getting down on yourself, saying things that are unkind, not taking care of yourself. Right? Because if you don't acknowledge it, you can't fix it. Like if somebody showed up today and said, I'm here to help you with everything that you need help with, and the plumbing's really messed up in my kitchen sink, let's say, right? And I don't ever bring up the plumbing, well, it's not going to get fixed. And so you just have to acknowledge it, and you have to know that, yeah, self-love is hard because we can fall into the old patterns and start repeating the same old crap to ourselves, that same negative tape that just plays. And that'll tell you how old my personal critiques are. Because I didn't even say the same old CD that plays, right? I'm talking about an 8-track tape of old crap that'll just immediately start playing in my head. And those are really, really hard. Those old patterns are really, really, really hard to break. But that's what makes self-love hard. That and the fact that, I mean, we're with ourselves 24 hours a day, and we think and hear all the thoughts that we think in here that, you know, if you have a better filter than me, you don't, it doesn't go thought and then right out your mouth, right? And you think to yourself, who would think that? Oh my God, if people know I thought that, what would people think of me? What other people think of us is none of our business. It's none of our business. It's just more noise. It's just more noise, and it just makes it harder. I'm not saying the compliments are noise. Compliments are wonderful, right? Compliments we need those, that reassurance. But if someone says something about you or to you and they just clearly didn't get the circumstances or who you are, and they're mean about it, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. Because that just chimes in with the other part of yourself that says that you're not lovable. That says that you still need some work. We all need work. We all need work. But don't listen to that negative stuff. Protect yourself from that. Just like you would protect, listen, if we were, all of us were out someplace, and somebody started to go to town on one of you guys, saying really unkind, mean, hurtful things, do you think for 1 second I would sit there and let that happen? There's no way. There's no way I would ever let anybody berate any one of you in my presence. I would absolutely be the first line of defense. If we were at a restaurant, I'd go over the table to actually stand in front of the person. And I would talk louder to drown out whatever hateful things they were saying. We should do that for ourselves as well. Right? So if I would do that for you, when the negative stuff starts for me or someone starts to critique me, I should be the first one that jumps up and stops it. Most of the time I do. But stuff can still sneak in, right? And I find that the older I'm getting, the better I'm getting about stopping stuff kind of right away, you know, negative stuff or anything like that. Because now I have the excuse of, hey, I'm too old. I don't have to listen to this, right? I paid my dues. I don't have to listen to this kind of crap. But I'll jump up and I'll stop stuff more often. But when I'm alone and I start beating up on my own self, I rarely jump in and stop it. And that's not taking very good care of myself, right? Sharon says, I'm getting better at not caring what others think. Yeah, I think aging has like a lot to do with that. Getting older, I think, has a lot to do with that. Because we find out we just have too many other new things going on, right, as we age. Like physical things and things aren't going so well. Physically, you know, we're starting to really understand that we're not invincible and we're not going to live forever like we thought we would in our 20s, right? So I think the older we get, we start to get a little bit better at tuning out the rest of the world and what they think about us. But that doesn't necessarily translate or help you learn how to love and accept yourself. Just because you're not listening to what anybody else has to say about you doesn't mean that you're saying the best and kindest and most loving things that you could to yourself about you. Does that make sense? And I think loving ourselves is the first thing we have to do to take better care of ourselves. Because it's not, listen, a nice quiet bubble bath is really nice. with some wine and some music or a book. That buying a new outfit is great, don't get me wrong, but that's not really self-love or acceptance. And honestly, I think we probably waste a lot of time beating ourselves up over things when we could just get on with fixing it instead of beating ourselves up over and over and over and over again for the same old thing. I think we could just get on and fix it, or at least start to explore ways to shape it and mold it, whatever it is that's going on inside of ourselves that's kind of getting in the way of the self-love. Right? You can't have self-care without self-love. Because then that just sounds like vanity care to me. That's like getting a pedicure, or getting your nails done, or dyeing your hair, or whatever it is. To me, that's just cosmetic. And when you talk about taking better care of ourselves, we're talking about really caring and protecting and loving and nurturing who we are. And I think if there's a part of ourselves that we don't like, let alone love or want to care about, then you gotta either have an exorcism of some sort, or you've got to make peace with it. That's who you were, or something that you did, but that you're on a new journey now. Right? You can't ignore it if there's something in yourself that really brings some despair. You can't ignore it. You don't necessarily have to talk about it out loud to other people, but you got to acknowledge it and either vote it off the island, somehow exercise it out of yourself, right? Or you have to make peace with that and go, that incident, or the way I acted, or the way I used to act, the way I acted in my 20s or my 30s, or when I was going through a divorce, or whatever, those things that still kind of make you cringe, you have to say, you know what? God, I was not the best person I could be in that circumstance, or in that decade, or in those 6 months, or in that work environment, or in that relationship. I was not the best person I could be. I wasn't the worst, and I was going through something. And I forgive myself for what happened, what I did, what I said, how I reacted. And I'm gonna release it now. Like, release the prisoner. Whatever incident or action or behavior that you exhibited, you're holding it hostage. Release it. Release it. Unlock the closet door and release some of the skeletons. They are not serving you. They are not serving you. Keeping those skeletons in that closet is not helping you. It's not caring for yourself, because you know that they're there and you're constantly terrified that they're going to jump out. Open the door, release the hostages, let them go. Forgive yourself for whatever happened, whatever you said, whatever you did, if it's somebody else that you're angry at, that's another story. Talking about things that get in your way to your goal of really loving and accepting yourself. Gotta get rid of some of that crap. Because if you're holding on to certain things and you're allowing them to interfere with your self-respect and your self-love and your self-acceptance and you being able to be really present in certain situations, if you're holding on to things that are interfering with that, you're getting in your way of your own happiness and your own contentment. And how irritating is that? And how irritated would you be if it was somebody else doing that to you? Every time you feel better, or even when maybe you're not feeling anything and just random thoughts come in your head, it makes you cringe and it makes you upset. We wouldn't appreciate anybody else doing that in our lives, right? But yet we do it. So you gotta clear the board a little bit. Because you can't really take care of somebody or love somebody who's getting in the way of your own happiness. And if that's you doing it, you've got to start to get some of those players off the board. All of us, and we all have things. You know, I've got some hostages I should release from situations that happened 30 years ago. Easily 30 years ago. Right? I have my own work to do. But it's important. And at the end of the day, I want to make an attempt to get there. To get to a kinder, better, more loving, more generous, more forgiving person for myself. I'm sure other people will benefit from it, but I really need that at the end of the day. I really need to get that unconditional love and acceptance. And I don't think when we get there, when we get to that point, we become a harder person, right? Like, Sharon said a little while ago, I'm getting better at not caring what others think. So I don't, to me, what it looks like in my head, self-love and acceptance doesn't look like doing that, not caring about what others think in a bitchy way. I don't see it as that. I see it as more of getting to a place where it just doesn't penetrate at all, where I'm just like, okay. That's what you think. All right. That's, to me, I think that would be kind of like nirvana, to just have an ease and an understanding with myself and of myself that certain things that other people say just don't have any relevance, because I know when I love myself, and regardless, I'm always going to have my back, right? Kind of like that. That's how I look at it, if that makes sense to anybody. And Sharon said, yeah, because there's no way you can please everyone. You can't. You can't make everyone happy. You're not a taco. Okay? If you were a taco, everybody would just be thrilled. You're not a taco. You can't make everyone happy. Some days you can't make anyone happy. but you can have peace with yourself and forgiveness if you fell short, right? And know that having a bad day or a bad interaction or whatever, or hearing somebody's opinion about yourself that doesn't resonate but stings, you can know that that's okay. You can know that it's okay that you did your best. And yeah, I'm not talking about really letting somebody just stand there and berate you, because I'm not going to take that. Nobody's going to take that. It's not about being a pushover. It's just about deciding that you're not going to accept what they're throwing out there and then file it, and then find a place to file it and keep it and hold on to it. Like, people don't know. Some people live together, married 40, 50, 60 years, don't know each other. Okay? None of us really know what the next person's going through, right? None of us. Natalie says, indeed, I am doing my best, and if people don't see that, bye-bye. Right, don't waste your time. Don't stop your journey to try to make somebody feel better about you while they're on theirs. If somebody doesn't like you or appreciate you, my God, there's millions and billions and billions of people on the planet, right? We don't know all of them. If we did know all of them, we probably wouldn't like all of them, and they get the same path. Not everybody has to like everybody else. That's not the way it works. So you can be doing your best and not be somebody's cup of tea or taco. But that doesn't take away from you doing your best. Right? It doesn't really matter what somebody else's opinion is of what you're doing at any moment in your life. So don't put up with it. And you can just say, looks like I'm not your cup of tea. All right, well, it was great knowing you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good luck. Good luck on your travels and your journey. Bye-bye. Hope you find what you're looking for. Right? And that's okay. Nothing bitchy about that. And you've protected yourself, which is the first thing about love, is protecting and nurturing and nourishing, right? Just like we would for a kid. We would protect, we would nourish, and we would encourage. And if they got hurt, we'd try to make it feel better right away. Not let it fester. Fix it right away. Right? So they could go on being happy. And that's what we have to do for ourselves. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Yeah, Sarah, we've been going for about 35 minutes. I say we. I've really been talking a lot. But it's funny because when we do these affirmations, we always kind of circle back to making sure that you have that self-care and that self-love in place, right? And that self-acceptance. We kind of always circle back to that. And it's not because we've stumbled upon something that nobody else knows. I mean, there's millions and millions of books about that, right? And I read out of one, and the positive affirmation cards, all those things should tell us that we're not alone in our journey, that we're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us. in wanting to um, in wanting to understand the struggle that it takes to do that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with us that we're struggling with it or that we haven't gotten it after X amount of months or years or books or groups or positive affirmation cards. We're not alone, but we still haven't reached the top of the mountain, whatever that looks like for everybody. We're not alone in that because you can look around at all of it. You can Google positive affirmations on Google and come up with them. Okay, it's not a new concept. And I don't think that there's like a miracle cure for it. Because I think if there was, it would definitely be out there, right? I think it's just whenever you've practiced enough of what you want in your life to where it becomes second nature. Right? I think that's when you start to feel the self-acceptance and self-love. And that is going to look and feel different for everybody. And it's going to take different amounts of time for everybody. I kind of look at it like, for me, it's probably going to have to be something I do for, the rest of my entire life. I'm going to have to really practice it. I mean, Lord knows I've been buying the books for 30 years. And we definitely go through different stages of trying to kind of overcome and let go and forgive and accept and love and take care of and, embrace and all that me, of me. And I obviously, I still haven't mastered it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I got distracted by other things in my life quite a few times. But I always keep coming back to it, so I know it's something important, and I know it's something that for the rest of my life I'll have to kind of continually self-adjust and kind of analyze certain things. And always have to work at taking better care of myself. That's just, that is just so foreign to me. But I know it's important. I know it's really important. So Sarah says she just woke up from a nap, and Natalie says that is taking care of yourself. That is definitely taking care of yourself. Sleeping, eating, taking a bubble bath sometimes, all taking care of yourself. Buying yourself a little trinket, that's all taking care of yourself. And when you take care of something really well, it's because you love it and you respect it and you want it to live its best life and be around for a while. So naps are definitely a good way to kind of reset sometimes. Sometimes you just need a nap just to reset, right? Kind of wake up. It's almost like when you're really, really, really hungry and then you finally eat, and like a half hour later, like you have a whole different perspective on everything. Nothing is quite as dark and sinister as it was before you finally ate. Maybe you guys can't relate to that. Maybe that's just me. That happens often. That's why the dogs get plenty of treats. I guess I'm going to have to make myself a treat, my own treat jar, so I can just grab some. But yeah, gotta take better care of ourselves, right? And just make it a priority and acknowledge when you're doing something, Carrie. I told you guys plenty of times. It might sound silly, but on Thursdays and Sundays, when the house gets clean, the laundry gets done, the dogs get their baths, and not that I want to do it, I get up and get it done. I always say thank you, Annette. Thank you, Annette, for doing the laundry. Thank you, Annette, for giving the dogs a bath. Thank you for cleaning the house. But I know you didn't want to do it. Thank you for that. And I say it out loud. So when you do something that's caring, be it laying down for a nap or making yourself something to eat or taking a bath, say to yourself, thank you. Sarah, thank you for that nap. Thank you for acknowledging the tiredness or the sleepiness or the just need a napness, right? Say thank you when you do nice things for yourself. Say thank you when you do things that have to be done that you don't want to do. Say thank you like you would to somebody else. My God, none of us were raised by wolves. Have some manners. Some manners. And thank yourself when you do nice things for yourself. And Natalie, that's right, Natalie. Natalie got right on it. Natalie said to Natalie, thank you, Natalie, for attending this live talk. I thank you too, Natalie. It will seem silly at first when you do it. I promise you that you will really appreciate when you thank yourself. Anything you do for self-care. I don't care if it's painting your nails, brushing your hair, or putting in earrings, or putting on, thank yourself for it because it shows respect. It'll make you smile and it'll make you feel more gratitude. Seriously. So Sarah, thank you. Say, Sarah Painter, say, thank you, Sarah, for taking that nap. Well, hi, Lynn. How are you? We're actually just about getting ready to wrap up. We've already covered all the topics, from other people's opinion of us, to can't make everybody happy because we're not a taco. Not a taco. You can't make everybody happy. To thanking yourself for acts of self-care and to learning how to reset and learning how to recognize, because that's part of taking better care of ourselves, right? So a lot of us learned patterns of not taking care of ourselves or not loving ourselves or accepting ourselves because we were taught to put ourselves last, or we were taught we didn't matter, right? And those are things that you have to go back and, like I said, release some of those feelings. And that's taking care of yourselves. But a lot of us weren't taught to take care of ourselves, right? We weren't taught our voice matters. Yes, your voice matters. If you don't believe me, do something nice for yourself and say to yourself, thank you, out loud. Thank you with your name and exactly what you're thanking yourself for. If you think your voice doesn't matter, do that for a couple weeks. Because I smile every time I do it. And not because I think it's silly. Though at first when I did it, I thought it was silly. But I smile to myself because I deserve the thanks and I deserve the smile. Right? But a lot of us were raised, our voices didn't matter and we didn't matter. So we put ourselves last. Oh, and Natalie's being cheeky, and she says, "Thank you, Natalie. I mean Annette." No, you can still thank Natalie again for coming to these. And we always learn something new. I feel like I always feel a little calmer for the rest of my Tuesday after we do this. But like I said earlier, we always kind of loop back to self-love and self-acceptance. And so please learn how to take better care of yourself. Learn how to recognize the moments when you need some self-care, or you need a thank you, or you need one of your affirmation reminders. Just, just start with that. Just trying to get to a place where you recognize that you need something. And then set about how to knock it out for yourself. Okay? All right. Let's look at our affirmation card for today. And thank you all for coming. And I'm going to thank myself. Thank you, Annette, for doing this positive affirmation. And this is our affirmation card for the day. And the front of it says, "It is safe to look within." So, oh, bye, Lynn. Lynn's got to go because her Wi-Fi is giving her grief. Bye-bye, Lynn. You can always catch the replay. Thanks for coming. It is safe to look within. Remember that. It's safe to unlock that closet full of skeletons and release some of the hostages that you maybe been holding for 20, 30, 40 years. Release them. It's okay. It is safe to unlock the closet door and let them out. It is safe to look within. And the back says, "As I move through the layers of other people's opinions and beliefs, I see within myself a magnificent being, wise and beautiful. I love what I see in me." Isn't that nice? As I move through the layers of other people's opinions and beliefs, I see within myself. You get rid of everybody else's opinions. Yes, even the ones from 30 years ago. Because it's just noise and it's just clutter and it's keeping you from seeing you for who you really are so you can accept and love yourself. The other people's beliefs and opinions and what they said to you in 1988 not only doesn't apply to who you are today, that opinion, that negative opinion, is just clutter and noise. It doesn't have any business being a part of your life now. Release the hostage, let it go, so that you can see and hear yourself clearly. Turn down the outer volume so you can hear yourself clearly. Gotta do it. And of course, there's Our Lady that we see, and I see everybody thanking each other, and always being very supportive during the stream, and you're thanking each other to show love and appreciation and kindness and respect. And that's why I'm telling you, you have to start thanking yourself, because it feels so good to hear that. You have to. So as I let you all go, I cannot really remember what next week's is. I think it might be releasing old toxins. Not really sure. But they're listed. And then we do have to do our little craft, one of our projects. Hopefully you guys are using your affirmation cards, making more. Hopefully you're adding to your joy jar and shaking it every once in a while and pulling some kindness out. And we do have a couple other projects that we're going, of course, that we're going to work on. So try to get those scheduled this month, okay? This Saturday, I think if my ribs hold up, I'm going to be at the Polish Festival again this year, so I'll live stream from that on Saturday. I'm going to see how it works holding the gimbal with this right arm after these broken ribs. So that may be coming up on Saturday. I don't know if any of you went to the Polish Festival when I live streamed last year. And then I'll see you, of course, again next Tuesday for another one of these. And throughout the week, never let anyone dull your sparkle. All right? Thank you, thank you, thank you for all attending, and do something nice for yourself. Natalie says she's always pulling a paper out of her joy jar, and I hope you thank yourself for that joy jar. I told you those joy jars are wonderful. It's a wonderful way to really stop whatever's going on and just get a little bit of joy and a reminder, right? A reminder of what somebody else said about you, and or what you have said for yourself, and that you took the time to make the joy jar, and that, oh my gosh, the fact that you thought of the joy jar and to go get it is progress, and thank yourself for that, right? Because these are all new concepts that we're introducing into our lives. So thank yourself when you remember to do those. Alrighty. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go do something nice for yourself and thank yourself. And I'll see you next